6th graders and 5 7th graders were nominated to attend the Regional Honor Band Festival in Moorhead last Saturday, along with students from over 20 other schools in the region. The 6th graders representing Discovery are Nathan LeBron, Ethan Hoppy, Logan Peterson. The 7th graders were Lance Jacobson, Shelby Feakum, Preston Peterson, CJ Scribner, and Owen Olson. And the Discovery Middle School is hosting the MMEA Middle Level Band Festival throughout today in the auditorium. Both the 8th grade bands and bands from Discovery will be performing, as well as the bands from other area schools.
There is still time to order your Discovery Middle School yearbook. You can pre-order your all-color yearbook for $30 online at jostensyearbooks.com. The link can be found on the DMS homepage. Order forms are also available in the office. All orders must be made by Friday, May 6th.
How would you like to go to camp this summer? Applications are being accepted until May 18th for the free Elks Summer Youth Camp in Nisswa, Minnesota for students ages 9 through 13. Campers experience a fun week of swimming, kayaking, boating, fishing, hiking, campfires, rock climbing, archery, team games, and much, much more. Camp dates are June 12th through the 18th. Interested students should pick up an application in the guidance office.
Hi, I'm here with Nicole Anderson, and she's been at the Elks Youth Camp for about 2 summers. So tell us a little bit about it.
We stay in cabins, and there's bunk beds we sleep in. We have a leader, and we do lots of activities, and we go swimming.
Can you tell us some of your favorite activities?
Some of my favorite activities are archery, canoeing, and rock wall climbing. I love it there. It's been the best place I've ever went to.
Can you sing or play an instrument? Can you dance? Know any magic tricks? A funny skit with friends? Are you good at karate or maybe jumping rope? If you have any kind of talent that you would like to share at the Final School Celebration Talent Show on Friday, May 20th, please sign up to audition in the lunchroom at the back table. Can't wait to see what you all have to share.
On Tuesday, May 3rd, the girls' softball teams traveled to Wilmer for a game that resulted in Wilmer taking the victory for 7th grade, 4-6. An 8th grade team won, 16-9. That same day, Alex hosted the boys' baseball games against Wilmer. 7th graders tied their first game 4-4 and lost their second game 2-6. 8th grade team was the winner for 11-7. Their next game will be tonight as they host Sartell. For all 6th through 8th grade boys basketball players, there will be an informational meeting on Tuesday, May 17th at 7:50 a.m. in Mr. Witt's room.
So how long have you been teaching, Mr. Schmidt?
This is my 36th year. I taught 14 years over at Old Central downtown, and I've been here since day one, 22 years here at DMS.
So tell me about your family.
Lori teaches at Voyager School. She's the best teacher I know. Son John is at St. Louis at the University of Washington in St. Louis, working on a PhD in mechanical engineering. My daughter Kristen is at University of Wisconsin, River Falls, and she's a senior, and she's student teaching in Stillwater in kindergarten.
All right. Any hobbies?
Well, I love all sports, anything. Soccer's a little bit of a challenge. I'm trying to like that. But I love sports, watching, participating. I also plant trees in my yard. I also raise raspberries and elderberries.
What are your plans for after retirement?
Lori has 2 more years to teach before she retires, so I plan, it's hard to leave this place after 36 years, so I'm going to try to do some coaching, and I'm going to sub quite a bit. I might have you next year.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Any favorite memories from the past?
Just my kids growing up. You know, I think every parent truly enjoys that, and it, you know, they say it's true. It goes by too fast when your kids grow up and then they're gone.
Right. Ooh, do you have any crazy or funny moments from when you were teaching?
You know, there's so many crazy moments. I teach mainly 7th grade, 12 and 13-year-olds. A couple crazy things that have happened to me related to education is that I went to the same school, Prior Lake, K through 11, 350 kids in a class, and my senior year, my family moved to Hawley, which was 55 kids in a class. So, you know, that's quite a change.
How are your students different today than when you started?
Well, obviously much more tech savvy, but you know, really, there's not a whole lot of change in my kids other than that. I still have great talented kids today than when I started in 1980.
How has teaching education schools changed since you started? It's like the all-around just District 206.
Well, I think there's much more technology, obviously, what I just said a minute ago. There's more independent studies, which is good. There are more choices for kids than when I started in 1980.
And how have you changed over the years as a teacher, and what have you learned?
Well, I don't think I've changed much. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm still a product of the 1970s. I have learned that teaching is a great profession. And I think it's the most important job in the world, truthfully. Not just saying that. Working with kids that are going to benefit our future. I've loved it. It's been great for me.
Well, those are all the questions we've had. Thank you.
And thank you, Hayden. And Zachary, thank you much.
Okay,
I'm a busy guy.
so you sure you don't want to like
I didn't swear at all.
tape anything at all?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
That one was
The last thing I Googled was how to whistle.
I can whistle.
The last thing I Googled was how much do kangaroos weigh, and it said 40 to 200 pounds.
New pair of shoes.
What is the last thing you Googled?
Scott Stevens, pro snowboarder.
The last thing that I probably Googled was Lego birthday parties, because my brother's having a birthday on May 6th, and I have to get all the games ready for him.
The West Nile virus for science class.
The last thing I Googled was Alberta tour dates.
The movie Howl's Moving Castle. Blue roses, because I wanted to see if they existed.
The last thing I Googled is Hitler's birthday. The last thing I Googled is Pete Wentz 2008.
The last thing I Googled was Luigi from Super Mario Brothers.
What was the last thing you Googled?
Barbara Manatee.
The last thing that me and Hallie Googled was Kim Kardashian.
Last thing we Googled was Dan and Phil.
The top 10 best hockey goals.
People playing Halo.
Last thing I looked up on Google was how to eat a cupcake.
The last thing I looked up last time was how to Minecraft.
The last thing we looked up was anime.
The last thing I looked up on Google was PewDiePie.
Last thing I looked up on Google was Wayne Gretzky.
What was the last thing that you guys looked up on Google?
The Statue of Liberty.
The day Prince was born.
So the last thing I looked up on Google was Grumpy Cat.
Top 10 cutest dogs.
Pomeranians.
I Googled about sharks.
Different types of fudge.
What was the last thing you Googled?
Alcatraz.
Robert Frost, interesting facts / important facts.
What is the fastest the Flash has ever run?
The last thing I Googled was the science behind the Flash.
Kazoo Kid.
World's smallest kitten.
The revival of Godspell on Broadway.
We just Googled shoes on eBay.
The last thing that I Googled was sewing machines.
The last thing I remember Googling was Jenny Joseph's poem for warning, just because I needed to do it for an English project.
What was the last thing you Googled?
The last thing I Googled was the Illuminati theme song. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
The address for Google headquarters so I could look it up in Google Earth. About my disease, I had to look up how it attacks and spreads for my science project.
How to build a nano robot.
Good pranks to do to my sister.
Baseball stats of Bryce Harper.
Mono and science about viruses.
The last thing I Googled was huskies.
How to make a cherry pie.
Nordic skiing.
The last thing I Googled was a person jumping off a cliff.
The last thing I Googled was haunted places in Alexandria.
The last thing I Googled was Donald Trump's birthday.
What was the last thing you Googled?
The last thing I Googled was a funny cat picture. Probably something about Russia for social studies. I don't know. Well, we had to.
Or discrimination. What discrimination?
Yeah, discrimination.
Is that crying Pepe memes?
Probably if giraffe snails were real.
How long it takes for the moon to orbit Pluto.
How long it took Neptune to orbit the sun.
What's the longest water slide?
The last thing I Googled was hockey goals.
Pokemon downloader.
Signs and symptoms of HIV.
The last thing I probably Googled was anorexia disorder.
The last thing I probably Googled was the Pío song from Spanish.
Pío, 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 tormentos por ahí.
If you would like to watch past episodes from Discovery Highlights, along with other videos from our school, go to the school district's homepage, then click on Important Links at the top right of the page. Then open the video library link that is in the top yellow bar, which will take you to all the DMS videos.